Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be at in the world. I'm going to live a little early today on this page because I know I need the rest for the rest of the afternoon because I'm going to be going live on my page again. So if y'all would like, can y'all come on in the room? Yes, I got my hair down. I got my leggings on. I got my Oshun shirt on. So I wanted to come in. I wanted to talk about Orishas and the New Black World and the New Black Gods. New World Black Gods. This is a good book to read. I won't be doing the Sacred Woman book because not everybody have that book. And not everybody can understand that book. So what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to start at the first part. I might start at the first part of this. Ashe. And I'm going to also be doing readings in between my lessons. So if you want a paid reading, then that's what I'm going to give you. And it'll be for $5. So if you want a 5-card reading, Grand Rising Jasmine Map, how are you? Ashe. If you want a reading from me, it'll be $5. But for a full reading, it's going to cost you more than that. My readings are between $25 and $36, depending on what you want. So what I'm going to do, if you've seen my videos in the group, so that I've shared in the group, so that means you must have followed along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to discuss things in this book. Okay, this is the introduction of this book. This is another book you would love to have in your book collection. The Orisha religion is a complex combination of theology, ritual, and symbol-rich plastic arts. In order to understand the fundamental ideas, it is necessary to give a basic explanation. Good morning, Grand Risings, Mama. I'm doing fine. I'm doing well. Ashe. All right, where was I? The fundamental ideas. It is necessary to give a basic explanation about the tenets of Orisha theological thought. The term Yoruba as a cultural designation dates only to mid-19th century colonialism and the aim of outsiders to come up with a common label by which it identified all the ethnic groups that saw themselves as related to the Oyo. Individuals identify first and foremost with their hometowns or areas. Egba, Egbado, Aisa, Aebu, Oyo. And being Yoruba in relation to outsiders, Europeans refer to the Oyo as Yoruba. The book I'm reading from is Orisha New World Black Gods. This is a very good book to have because it goes with the Ifa divination book, which I have that I'll be reading out of in a minute. And I'm going to do the story from this book and I'm going to explain the story. This is also the Ifa Odu book, which also goes with the Ifa divination book, which also goes with this book. So when you're dealing with the Orishas, you have to have different types of books. All right. The Yoruba as Orisha devotees are nature worshippers. Nature worship is the sense, means, reverence that is paid to a divine being who is the creative and controlling force of everything that exists in the universe. The Yoruba believe the nature as the total manifestation of God is the supreme being. The supreme being goes by the names Odumare, Olufen, Olorun, owner of heaven, et al. Eta'al. However, we also believe that since Odumer, owner of the Strivers, who is dazzling, has a rule such as vast universe, she has no time to directly involve her himself in the affairs of mankind. Okay, I can do that. We believe he's the rule in abstentia, that he's relinquished his or her role to Obatala, giving him the authority to govern in his or her absence, and Olufun, the lawgiver, divided the rest of his or her powers. Among the other deities who are called Orisha, the buried selected selectively may have from many heads in honor of Obatala. So you're welcome, Mama. So you can have as many Orishas as you want to that can actually rule your head. You're not going to be told this. The Orishas are deities in the Yoruba religious pantheon. These deities are specific parts or forces selected to exist within God, which govern different parts of the universe. The deities are associated with forces of nature such as the wind, the volcano, the ocean, the river, the sun, and moon. They are also associated with ancestors and various classes of spirits. These deities were given names and are respected for their powers. This belief can be summarized in the question, where do fire, air, land, and water not influence man's existence? This is the basic thought underlying the belief in the Orishas. The Orisha are specialized forms of the one supreme God, and there are an infinite number of Orisha each human has the ability to become through sacrifice and right living. An Orisha. So your Orisha can change at any time. You still have your head Orisha, but the Orishas are, just as stated, are energies. So your energy, it shifts, it changes. So you can have, for example, Ogun as your head. Then the following month or year, your energy change again, and you could get Shango. Or you could get Oshun. So if you have Oshun as your head, you can turn around and have Oya as your head as well. The proceeding concepts are fundamental to understanding the Yoruba way of life. The Yoruba consider the universe to be formed with two half-gourds that have been sealed together at their rims. The universe is therefore conceived to be round or spheroid in shape, which conforms to theories of physics in reference to the shape of the universe. The Yoruba say that there is a great serpent that is coiled around the meeting point of these two half-gourds, and that is what keeps the universe from being torn apart. Iri Nila, great serpent, also known as Oshumare. Dazzling Shapir, rainbow, represents the vast encircling region of spiritual and ancestral powers. The universe, it stands from the cycle, cyclic, and internal movement of matter and the interdependence of cosmic entities. Matter can neither be created nor destroyed. We have always been and will always be. So when our bodies die, we go back to the earth, but our spirits can come back. So this is basically saying that we are immortal. Our bodies aren't immortal, but our spirits and our beings is immortal. So when you strip back the skin and you take away the bone, you take away the flesh, you take away all of that, you basically have what we call your spirit. Your spirit ain't no bigger than your pinky. So when you strip all of that away and you just basically got the spirit, your spirit is what's ruling your body. Your spirit is what's keeping your body going. Your spirit is what's walking through with your body. Your spirit controls your brain. Your brain controls your body. There are different levels of this. All right. This cosmic view includes consideration of the sun, the moon, the comets, the stars, the rainbow, and all of the phenomenon that appear in the firmament, but these elements are not dealt with in the same way that one would deal with the heavenly bodies in astrology. So we're dealing with this, but we're dealing with it differently. We're not supposed to deal with it lightly. Traditional Africans' first alliance is with the Onali, owner of the earth, and the Yoruba are basically geocentric in outlook. It seems that the further from the earth an object is, the less intense Yoruba observation or thinking seems to be on the object. Some people continue to think that Yoruba religious belief has a definite relationship to astrology. However, this author could find no evidence provided by the elders or written in any of the literature that explicitly proves that Yoruba religious beliefs or tradition has any substantial links to astrology. There was, in fact, no mention of astrology or astronomy except for folklore associated with the tales of the sun, the moon, the stars, and the rainbow. And the tales show a definite tying of these elements to the earth. The Yoruba believe that we exist in a closed, definable universe which is ruled by Odumare, the Orisha, the ancestors, and countless other spiritual powers. We have listed 10 basic components of Yoruba religious belief and practice. The Yoruba believe that there is one God who created and controls the universe and all that is contained therein. The Yoruba believe that there are selected forces of nature, Orisha selected parts of God, which deal with the affairs of mankind on earth and govern the universe in general. 3. The Yoruba believe that the spirit of man lives on after death and can reincarnate back into the world of men. Orun ni ile aye oja. Heaven is home, the world is the market. The world is a transitory state of being. This goes back to me pulling the market card with some people. The earth is the market, so you're in a market. Would you pay half price for something that you know is not going to work? You get what you pay for. That's why I tell people, do not sell yourself short. The Yoruba believe that ancestral spirits have power over those who remain on earth, so must be remembered, appeased, honored, and consulted by the living. The Yoruba believe in divination. They believe that with the correct knowledge, investigation, implementation, and sacrifice, the means to solve all problems and cure all ill are within our grasp. So when you getting your elbow read, you getting your Odu done, and you getting your Ipele done, and you're getting your Ita done, and it says you got to do something in order to bring back the balance. From the time you get your elbow read, you're given a prescription for the sacrifice that you need to do. But if you're not going to do that, guess what? Then it's more havoc on you. Okay? The Yoruba believe in the use of offerings and blood sacrifice to elevate our prayers to the Orishas and the ancestors. See, that's where the Christians got it from. But I'm not speaking ill will of them. I'm just saying the same things that they doing, our ancestors did. The eating of the flesh, the drinking of the blood, the body of Christ, the blood of Christ. So you basically see where this is going. There's still yet some evil practices in Christianity, whether you see it or not. All right. The Yoruba believe in magic. They believe that magic occurs when we use our heads and our abilities to become dazzling so that we can counter or frustrate evil, thus eliminating the source of the problem. Magic is the ability to transform things, i.e. negativeness, into goodness. The Yoruba believe in the mechanical and magical use of herbs. The Yoruba believe that ritual, song, and dance are mandatory in the worship of God. And, this is 10, and the Yoruba believe that mankind can commune with God through the vehicle of transpossession. It seems that for all humans, the brain's parietal lobe controls our sense of self, where we begin and the world starts. Boundaries are decreased and possibly eliminated when we experience a spiritual moment. Transpossession will be such a moment. That's like speaking in tongues, yada, yada, yada. This is where we come in at when we call it mounting. This is where the Orishas mount. This is what the Orishas do. They mount. But how, you may ask, does it all fit together? Let us start again from the beginning. The Yoruba believe that God is too vast an idea to comprehend, so we pick a portion of God and Orisha and try through comprehension of the part to gain knowledge of the whole. For example, when a Yoruba goes to a river and gives an offering of fruit to it, she is not worshiping the river. He or she is making an offering to the spirit that resides in the river. The Orisha of the river, that small part of God which the river exemplifies, is in the Yoruba sense of God. God is too aloof to pray directly to, so he or she has a lot of middlemen or Orisha. The Orisha are his or her emissaries and are the workers who take care of business for him. The Orishas are greater than mankind, but less than God. So, when we say that the Yoruba are nature worshippers, we do not mean they pray to rocks or rivers or trees in the narrow sense of the term. What the Yoruba worship is the essence of God. The essence. The essence. We're not worshiping rocks, trees, cats, dogs. We're worshiping the essence. Because everything has the essence and the breath of Odumare and Obatala. And Olorun is the divinator between the three. Because you got Ishu Elegua. There are many paths to Ishu and Elegua. There are many paths of Oshun. So when you say, oh, I'm worshiping this, it could be a statue. You're not basically worshiping the statue. You're worshiping the essence of what's in the statue or what was made. So when you say, oh, I'm worshiping this, or I'm worshiping that, or I'm doing this, or I'm doing that, you're not worshiping the statue itself. You're worshiping the essence. Essence. When someone dies, they leave their essence, which is their spirit. Okay? Their philosophy is based on the idea that God has left something of value in the river for the Yoruba to extract, and to use for the betterment of their lives. There is a force in the river and everything that God has created, and all of these things are a part of God, which is Odumare. Don't get it twisted. The Yoruba believe that everything in nature tells a person something, whether it be a command, a warning, or a compliment. Some parts of nature give you something, some parts of nature take something away. Nevertheless, the Yoruba believe that nature will guide them if they are aware of all there is to offer around them. In the same sense that God's spirits, angels, and prophets guided the early Hindu, Taoists, Israelites, and Arabs, the Yoruba are guided by every aspect of God's nature to look, to listen, to be quick, to be still, to be smart, or to be on guard. We believe, therefore, that if we use nature's signs and forces properly, Odumare, which is God, will help us thrive. When a person sees Orisha devotees praying at a rock, this act is often misinterpreted, which is so true. The idea for them, and if they tap into it properly, God will help them. The rock won't help them, but God will help them. So when in the Bible, when old boy was getting married, the first daughter got met, the youngest daughter got married. I want to say the oldest daughter, I'm not sure what chapter in the Bible that is. I don't have that next to me, but the youngest or the oldest what got married first. So when they got married, and he carried them off because he thought something bad was going to happen, the father came to him and said, you carrying off both of my daughters like captives. You didn't give me a chance to send them off the proper way. So they both made a covenant with a rock to say that their family is bonded together like a rock. That's what the covenant was between these two people. So you can use a rock as a covenant between the two, because Odumare is the witness. The Yoruba see a God in everything and have a different name for God in everything and in every circumstance. We realize that there is a difference between God of the mountain, God of the river, God of the forest, and so forth. The Yoruba also believe that within one God there are polarities, that this one God is a combination of opposites. It is this idea of polarities that permeates their religious philosophy. God, the culture, and the religion are based on the necessary principles of polarities. Polarity is defined as the equality or condition inherited in a body that exhibits opposite properties or powers, opposite parts or direction. For the Yoruba, God is a combination of contradictory powers. Two-ness is the ideal condition that renders balance. These powers or forces can be called Orisha. The many contradictory parts or aspects within God offset each other and form a balance. This balance renders God neutral. He or she is the ultimate coolness, the ultimate balance. The Orisha also exhibit polarities. These polarities or difference within each Orisha are called the roles, avatars, incarnations of the Orisha, and it is the sum total of these many polarities within God which creates our reality. So basically, just by me reading that alone, that means you have a balance. You can't tip the scale with more than one thing. If anybody would like a paid reading on here for $5, I want to see if anyone would like a reading while I'm teaching. I'm going to do the Odus later because I know that was a bit much. But if anyone would like a reading, you can come on my live and I'll give you a 5-card reading for $5. Would anyone like a reading? Tagged everybody, but I guess everybody left because I think I got a little too boring. I'm trying to find members of the group, but it looked like I can't find any. But yes, I wanted to come on here and speak on that about the knowledge of mankind and the gods and goddesses. So when people say God, you have to look at it in a different aspect. What God are we talking about? What type of God are we talking about? So when you're saying God, you have to be more definite, give a more definition of that. Yeah, I know my live is boring, but hey, I'm here to teach and give readings, but I want to teach first. So you have to be more defiant when you saying God. You have to give a better definition when you say God, because you don't know which God you're calling on. So you have to be careful when you call on these deities, because these deities got names. These gods got names. Everything has names in it. So you have to be careful. Would anyone like a reading? If not, I'm going to stop right here. I'm going to come back on this page and I'm going to do the readings. I just needed to do the first half of this video and teach.